Imagine sitting at dinner with your family. The next morning, they're all gone. No signs, no struggle, no goodbyes, just vanished. These aren't horror stories. They're real cases that have baffled investigators for decades. And the creepiest part, some of them happen with witnesses watching. Get ready, because once you hear these stories, you'll be checking behind every door tonight. In November of 1930, a fur trapper named Joe LaBelle was making his way through the desolate, snow-covered landscape near Lake Anjikuni in northern Canada. He knew the area well and was expecting the warm welcome of a thriving Inuit village he often traded with. But as he approached, an eerie silence hung in the air. The village, which should have been bustling with over 30 men, women, and children, was completely deserted. The fires under half-cooked pots of food were still smoldering. A half-mended sealskin coat lay on a bed, a needle still threaded through it. The villagers' rifles, their most essential tools for survival, were left leaning against the walls of their homes. It was as if everyone had simply stood up and walked away in the middle of their daily lives. But there were no footprints leading away from the village, despite the fresh snow. The only signs of life were the sled dogs, which were found chained to posts, having starved to death. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police launched a full-scale investigation, but they found nothing, no bodies, no signs of a struggle, and no explanation. To this day, the disappearance of the Anjikuni villagers remains one of Canada's most chilling and unsolvable mysteries. On the night of May 14, 2008, 19-year-old college student Brandon Swanson was driving home from a party in rural Minnesota. He misjudged a turn, and his car slid into a ditch. Uninjured but stuck, he called his parents Al and Annette. He told them he was fine and believed he was near the town of Lind. His parents drove out to pick him up. Staying on the phone with him the entire time, they flashed their lights, honked their horn, but couldn't find him. Brandon, frustrated, decided to start walking toward what he thought were the lights of Lind. For 47 minutes, stayed on the phone with his dad, describing the fences he was climbing and the sounds of water he was hearing. He seemed calm, just annoyed about his car. Then suddenly, his dad heard him shout, "Oh, Shasterisk T!" The line went dead. That was the last anyone ever heard from Brandon Swanson. Extensive searches were launched. Police later discovered that his cell phone had actually pinged from a tower 25 miles away from where he said he was. His car was found, but there was no sign of Brandon. It was as if in that single moment, he had just been wiped from the face of the earth. Imagine it's Christmas Eve, 1945. The Sauter family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, is filled with the excitement of the holiday. George and Jenny Sauter were asleep with 2 of their 10 children, while 8 others were sleeping upstairs. Around 1 a.m., a fire broke out, engulfing the house in flames. George, Jenny, and 4 of their children managed to escape the inferno. But 5 of their children, Morris, Martha, Louie, Jenny, and Betty, were trapped upstairs. Tragically, George's ladder was missing from its usual spot. His water barrels were frozen solid, and his trucks wouldn't start. By the time the fire department arrived, the house was just a pile of smoldering ash. The most horrifying part? When investigators sifted through the debris, they found no bones, no teeth, no human remains of any kind. The fire marshal concluded the children had been completely cremated, but that seemed impossible in a typical house fire. For the rest of their lives, the Sauters believed their children had been kidnapped. They received strange tips, a cryptic photo in the mail claiming to be their son Louis, and even saw a billboard they erected vandalized. The case officially remains a fire, but the 5 Sauter children were never found, leaving a mystery that haunts West Virginia to this day. On October 21, 1978, a 20-year-old pilot named Frederick Valentich took off in his single-engine Cessna for a training flight over the Bass Strait in Australia. The flight was routine until 7:06 p.m., when Valentich radioed Melbourne's air traffic control with a strange report. He asked if there were any other aircraft in his vicinity. The controller said no, Valentich insisted, describing a large, unknown aircraft hovering above him, moving at high speed. He said it was long in shape and had 4 bright green landing lights. He told the controller, "It seems to be playing some sort of game. It's flying over me." He reported that his engine was beginning to run rough. The controller asked him to identify the aircraft. Valentich replied, "It's not an aircraft." His last words were followed by 17 seconds of a strange, metallic scraping sound before the transmission cut out completely. Frederick Valentich, and his plane vanished. An extensive air and sea search found absolutely nothing. No oil slick, no wreckage, no trace of the pilot. Was he abducted by a UFO, as many believe? Did he become disoriented and crash into the sea? Or did he fake his own death? The final radio recording remains one of the most puzzling pieces of evidence in aviation history. Deep in the wilderness of southwestern Vermont lies an area known as the Bennington Triangle. It's a place of strange legends, but between 1945 and 1950, it became the site of 5 very real and very terrifying disappearances. It began in November 1945, when 74-year-old Mitty Rivers, an experienced hunter and guide, led a group into the woods. He walked ahead of his group and was never seen again. The only trace found was a single rifle cartridge in a stream. 18-year-8 at Daysed, Tanished. Despite one of the largest searches in Vermont's history, nothing was ever found. In 1949, a veteran named James Tedford got on a bus to return home to the Bennington soldiers. Home witnesses saw him on the bus one stop before his destination, but when the bus arrived, he was gone. His luggage was still on the rack. The following year, 8-year-old Lau Jeffson disappeared from his family's truck while his mother was feeding her pigs just a few yards away. The search dogs strangely lost his scent at the very road where he was last seen. And finally, Frida Langer, an experienced hiker, slipped and fell in a stream. She told her cousin to wait while she went back to their campsite to change clothes, a half-mile walk. She never returned. No remains, no clothing, no clues were ever found for 4 of the 5 victims. It's as if the forest itself simply swallowed them whole. What do you think happened to these people? Did they fall victim to terrible crimes? Or did they encounter something truly beyond our understanding? Let us know your theories in the comments. If you've made it this far, you're officially part of the vault. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because next time, we're diving into the most terrifying open casket curse ever recorded. Sleep well, if you can.